Well, hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Jared. I host a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics, going live about 8 a.m. if it ain't already. And we don't do April Fools where I am. We're past that part. Cory Booker used the power of speech. Fuck, I forgot what it was. Filibuster. He used the filibuster. I just was on there and someone else was talking. It's still live per the AP. But yeah, shout out Cory Booker for hearing our cries that the Democrats aren't doing enough, right? Here's Cory Booker on the Senate floor trying to convince Republicans to vote against the spending bill that takes money out of vital programs that keep people alive and giving it to the billionaires instead. And people are going to say the filibuster doesn't fucking work, but it does. Totally does. Totally does. Yep. They last used the filibuster to pass Obamacare, or the ACA. They had to convince some Republicans. Remember this, that Republicans are starting to turn on Donald Trump. That's not an April Fool's joke. I know that it's dark, but hope remains, you know? I still want to know what happened to Executive Order 13848 and the results of those investigations. And all of those states conducted investigations. And keep in mind, those investigations were turned in December, before Donald Trump was president. And then all these agencies that investigated, they didn't give an all clear. Keep that in mind. Remember Avril? She never came out and said, all clear, nothing bad happened during the election. That information's lurking. And again, it's not April Fool's. Cory Booker used the filibuster last night and into the morning and over 8 hours at least. And only now do I see someone else out there talking. So yeah, shout out Cory Booker. When everyone else is cozy in bed, I'll remember that Cory Booker used a filibuster. I think it's like wildly important. Because if you don't, then like, again, I keep saying this, like, democracy is only as good as it holds. Just remember that to all you elected officials that weren't in there cheering Cory Booker on last night, that didn't decide to make it a fucking team meet, that chose to go home and go to bed and shit. History will remember you for what you were doing during this time period. You know that your protest is powerful when the President of the United States writing executive orders trying to target it. So don't be afraid to protest en masse on April 5th. In fact, you should be even more invigorated to protest. If nothing else, be anti-war. Here's why. Donald Trump threatened Iran, and per other creators that have access to unclassified information, Donald Trump has positioned a bunch of U.S. military assets in position to attack Iran. Again, which I'd say, again, is not April Fool's. Iran has said if the U.S. attacks, there'll be a retaliatory blow. Again, Donald Trump campaigned as an anti-war president, and now it's Canada, Mexico, Greenland, Iran, right? While trying to end support for Ukraine and reinvigorate Israel in their genocide. I also saw Bibi speaking in English, by the way, recently, and talking about our protests here in the United States. Protesting, say we're supporting murderers, so you've committed a genocide. Sit down. You can't leave and go anywhere in the world and get arrested. In order for you to attend a fucking funeral, you had to beg not to be arrested. So, just want to point that out. The only places you can go are places where people will allow you. Anyway, I didn't intend to make this a long video. I don't do April Fools. But yeah, I think it's worth talking about. Senator Booker using the filibuster, Donald Trump campaigning as an anti-war candidate and threatening to dismantle Iran's nuclear weapon infrastructure, and has positioned a bunch of military assets in position to do so. A lot of people probably feel like I do. Donald Trump's bluster is bullshit. He also thinks you can't run a government like a business. You're going to end up in a war. And the problem right now is Donald Trump has pissed off all of our allies. So if the United States gets involved in a fucking conflict, especially if it comes to U.S. soil, who's going to fucking help us? This is the problem that I have with just, again, doing fucking nothing and saying fucking nothing. Is you're just going to let them get us attacked and say nothing? Like, what are you doing? You know, I hope, one of the things I've learned in my life, it's not about me, right? And I watched another video where they were talking about China's the new world leader, and the problem with that is that China is due to like half their population will be 65 or older by 2030. And we got an aging population in the United States too, but we won't hit that point until like 2060, per that other video. Conflict. And war. And again, I'm sitting here saying like I'm anti-war. I know secondhand, I guess, because I was on active duty in the Marine Corps Infantry during a time of war. So while I didn't go to the front lines and fight myself, I certainly fucking trained to do that. We just got lucky. We got sent on the 26 MEU, so I was on a fucking boat to the Med in support. So don't act like that shit wasn't going to fucking happen. We could get dropped in Iraq or Afghanistan. That's the whole point. And I think about that. We want none of this. Americans want none of this. And there's going to be other people. There's other people making content saying this is what Americans fucking voted for. And let me be the white cis male telling other fucking people, you got to stop looking at our elections results like Donald Trump, Elon Musk didn't interfere and commit fraud in that election. You have to understand that there are 335 plus million people in the United States. And even at current numbers, about 24% of the U.S. population voted for that man. So all you foreign content creators talking about America fucking deserve this shit. We voted for this shit. No, the fuck we did not. No, the fuck we did not, man. And there's a lot of fucking people that voted for Donald Trump that didn't want none of this shit neither and thought that he wasn't going to do this shit neither. So they got hoodwinked, which is fucking hilarious because that's literally all the fuck Donald Trump has ever done. Anyway, I'm about to go live. As you can tell, I could talk forever. Y'all have a good rest of your day. Come see me.